If you're thinking about moving to Fort Lauderdale, Florida, this is the video most people won't make. Some of this may not shock you, but I'm sure some of it will. Everyone talks about beaches, the boating, the sunshine, the lifestyle, but today I'm breaking down the downsides of living in Fort Lauderdale. The real stuff that can catch you off guard if you're not prepared. And here's the thing, maybe these aren't deal breakers, but they are realities. And if you understand them going in, you're gonna make a much smarter move. Make sure you stay until the end when I'll cover one of the most irritating things about Fort Lauderdale that you would completely miss. If this is your first time on the channel and you want to know everything about living in Fort Lauderdale, Florida and the surrounding cities, then subscribe below so you can be the first to know about our current market. My name is Hector Valdes. I'm born, raised, and have lived in South Florida my entire life. My team and I love helping people make their move to Fort Lauderdale, whether it's 9 days or 9 months. Feel free to reach out. Our contact information is in the description, and we'd be happy to help you make a smooth move to Fort Lauderdale. So let's get into it. Alright, so first we're going to start with our first con, the cost of living. And it is high and it's rising fast. Fort Lauderdale and the surrounding area is not cheap. Home prices have climbed significantly over the past few years. Rent has gone up, insurance has gone up, property taxes have gone up, and it can really surprise people coming from lower tax states. And then there's homeowners insurance. Between hurricane exposure, flood risk, insurance premiums can dramatically be higher when you compare it to out-of-state areas. Even condos are seeing an increase due to new structural and reserve requirements. Of course, there's a positive spin. Higher costs usually reflect the higher demand. Fort Lauderdale is not a completely struggling market. It's still a desirable one. And historically, strong demand supports property values long term. Many homeowners have seen solid appreciation. And yes, affordability is a real challenge here. Alright, con number 2, traffic. If you're coming from a small town, Fort Lauderdale traffic will test your patience. Federal Highway backs up, I-95 backs up, and Las Olas during the season is packed. A1A Ocean Boulevard on a sunny weekend is very slow. And especially during snowbird season, roughly January through April, the population swells. That can mean more cars, longer wait times, and slower commutes. On the flip side, Fort Lauderdale is actually more navigable. Fort Lauderdale is actually more tolerable than Miami. The grid system definitely helps, and because the city is relatively compact, it's not too large, many neighborhoods are 10 to 15 minutes from the beach, downtown, or the airport. So yes, traffic exists. But compared to larger metros, it's very, very manageable if you live strategically. If you're disliking our list so far, you're really gonna hate the next item on the list. Third con, heat and humidity. Summers here are super intense. From June through September, it's hot, humid, afternoon thunderstorms are common. Walking outside at 2 p.m. can feel like stepping into a sauna. If you're used to 4 seasons, the constant warmth can feel super monotonous. But here's the upside. You trade a few months of heavy humidity for zero snow, no ice scraping, year-round living. And most homes are built for it, and so are our businesses. Strong AC systems are pretty common. Many homes have pools and covered patios. Still, summer is real. And if you hate humidity, this will definitely take an adjustment. Con number 4, hurricanes and storm anxiety. Living in Fort Lauderdale means accepting hurricane season as a part of life. You have to prepare for storms, you have to have shutters or impact windows, you have to watch forecasts very carefully, you have to pay attention to evacuation zone, and it's a reality from June through November. Even if a storm doesn't hit directly, the anxiety builds during season. Insurance costs tie into this as well. Flood zones matter, roof age matters, impact windows matter. It's definitely something to be aware of. But here's a perspective shift. South Florida construction standards are some of the strictest in the country. Many homes have impact windows and reinforced roofing. Many of our communities are highly experienced in storm prep and recovery. It's just part of our lifestyle, but it's something that the region is equipped to handle and takes very seriously. Alright, con number 5, insurance and condo fees. This deserves really its own section. Condo buyers especially need to pay attention right now. Condo fees in Fort Lauderdale can be super high, and they're rising in many buildings due to new reserve requirements and structural inspections. Older buildings near the beach have substantial monthly fees. On top of that, assessments can happen as well. That surprise $20,000 to $40,000 assessment can shake people that didn't review financials carefully. Now, here's the positive side. Well-managed buildings with healthy reserves are actually safer long-term. New regulations are forcing transparency and stronger financial planning from buildings, which protects owners in the long run. Yes, the due diligence at the end of the day is critical. Con number 6, flooding in certain areas. Fort Lauderdale has canals, waterways, and low elevation. That means that some of our neighborhoods experience street flooding during king tides or during heavy rain. It's not in every area, but it's definitely in some. Buyers absolutely need to check flood zones, elevation certificates, and prior claims. The upside, waterfront living in Fort Lauderdale is one of the biggest assets. Those canals create boating access, lifestyle appeal, and property value. Just make sure you buy smart and understand the elevation and the drainage. Alright, here's our 7th con. Tourism and seasonal crowds. Fort Lauderdale is definitely a destination. We have spring break, boat shows, the air show, we have tons of snowbirds, tons of tourists. During peak months, restaurants are busy, beaches are fuller, and parking is harder. Some locals love the energy, others get frustrated by it. So, what's the reframe? Tourism fuels our local economy. It supports restaurants, nightlife, marine activity, and jobs. And if you live slightly west of the beach corridor, you can enjoy the benefits without the constant congestion. Location matters definitely. Alright, here's our 8th con. Wages have not kept up with housing. This is important for locals relocating within South Florida. Fort Lauderdale salaries in many industries haven't risen as fast as the real estate prices. That creates pressure for renters and first-time homebuyers. If you're moving from New York, California, or the Northeast with remote income, it may feel actually very comfortable here. But if you're relying solely on local wages, affordability can feel tight. The positive side, Fort Lauderdale has seen strong growth in remote workers, entrepreneurs, finance professionals, and business relocators. The economic profile is evolving, but income strategy matters more than ever. Okay, here's our 9th con. Public transportation is limited. Fort Lauderdale is car dependent. Yes, we do have the Brightline train and there are buses, but realistically, most residents rely on cars. If you're coming from a city like Chicago or New York, this will definitely feel different. What's the silver lining? Parking is generally much easier here than major urban cores, and most neighborhoods offer space, driveways, garages, wider roads. Don't move here expecting a subway lifestyle because you're not going to find it. Alright, here's our 10th con. Older housing stock in some of our areas. While there are new luxury builds, much of Fort Lauderdale was developed decades ago, realistically in the 1950s, 60s, and 70s. That means older plumbing, older roofs, cast iron pipes, lower elevation homes. Inspections because of this are crucial. But here's the positive spin. Older homes often sit on larger lots in established neighborhoods with mature landscaping and character. Renovated properly, they can offer more charm, space than newer builds. You just need to budget for updates. Alright, here's our 11th con. Property taxes can surprise people. Florida has no state income tax, which is great, but property taxes fund a lot locally. If you're buying in today's higher values, your tax bill may be significantly higher than the previous owner because it is based on purchase price and assessed value. We have something here called the homestead exemption, and it definitely helps. That's an additional savings on your taxes, but it's important to calculate your future taxes, not just your current one. The upside, No state income tax often offsets the higher property taxes for many buyers, especially for higher earners. Here's our 12th con. This lifestyle is not for everyone. Fort Lauderdale is active, it's social, it's boating focused, and it's beach driven. If you prefer mountain towns, quiet rural settings, 4 distinct seasons, you may find it a little one-dimensional. But for people who love water, sunshine, outdoor living, and the eternal summer that we live in, this con becomes the real reason they move here. So what's one of the most irritating things about Fort Lauderdale? The bugs! Mosquitoes, gnats, and palmetto bugs. So we definitely have a season for this, although I gotta say mosquitoes are existent most of the year. We do have these huge rainstorms, and when it gets really, really humid, we have gnats that come out and they can kind of hit you in the face. It can be pretty gnarly. And palmetto bugs are these kind of larger bugs. They're about this size, if you can believe. And they actually kind of show up in your garage suddenly, and it can be a little bit kind of shocking if you're not into bugs. Of course, all of that can be manageable in terms of like getting a pest control company to manage it, and it's totally livable, but if you're not prepared for it, it can definitely catch you off guard. So here's the honest truth. Fort Lauderdale isn't perfect. It's expensive, it's hot, it has storm risk, it has traffic, it has insurance challenges, it has seasonal crowds, and it has bugs. But every major coastal city has its trade-offs. The difference is understanding them before you move, not after. Because when you plan for the cost, choose the right neighborhood, review insurance carefully, structure your purchase smartly, most of these cons become manageable realities rather than surprises. And that is truly the key. Fort Lauderdale rewards informed buyers. If you're considering making a move and want to talk through specific neighborhoods, flood zones, condo buildings, or cost breakdowns, reach out. Making the right move here isn't about avoiding the cons. It's about understanding them, positioning yourself in the right frame of mind to understand them. If this is your first time on the channel and you want to know everything about Fort Lauderdale and the surrounding cities, then subscribe below so you can be the first to know about our current market in our area. My name is Hector Valdes. I'm born and raised and have lived in South Florida my entire life. My team and I love helping people make their move to Fort Lauderdale, whether it's 9 days or 9 months. Feel free to reach out. Our contact information is in the description, and we'd be happy to help you make a smooth move to Fort Lauderdale. See you next time.